Tavex, Hebrews, purity and becoming one. How do we become pure? You got to turn to the Most High God and Him alone. Nobody else. Nobody else is going to help you. Nobody else can save you. You're gonna turn to Yahweh or Yahuwah or Yah, the Creator. You're gonna turn to Him alone, or you're not gonna survive. But we must repent. We must become pure, and the only way to become pure, you gotta turn to Yah only. And that's not something. Being Yah only is not something that you try to do. You either are Yah only or you're not. Period. Right? And there will be no live stream later on this evening. There will be no live stream later on this evening. I'm just peeking in here right now to say what's up to y'all. And also give y'all this quick little story time. And then I'm going to get the heck up out of here. Because I got to rejuvenate myself and prepare. Because I got to go into the Babylonian captivity early in the morning, when many of you will be counting sheep in your bed, nice and warm. I'm going to be out somewhere like this. Okay? I'm going to be out somewhere like that. It's a lot of ice out here. And believe it or not, what you're looking at right now, that ain't really too much, right? Or at least it might not so-called look like too much, because I had to so-called struggle to get right where I'm at right here. As soon as I actually get back moving again, it's way worse than this. Way worse than this. Real talk, we'll be looking at, for real, they should have called a national emergency for all of America. Because it's 51 states in America, if I'm not mistaken. 51, if I'm not mistaken. Of those 51 states, 40 states, 40 states were affected by this snow emergency. This is a weather emergency. And not only the snow emergency, the temperature, ridiculous. Around here in the DMV, we're not used to single-digit temps and all that kind of stuff. Not like that. Been a long time since we had this. I don't ever remember seeing this kind of snow. This snow out here is harder than a cinder block. Harder than that. Like I said, what I just showed you right there, that wasn't nothing. That was light work, what I showed you. And this is a good part right here, what I just showed you. That's a good part. So many parts, you can tell that the city, the state, whoever, they were unprepared for this and they did not do their job. And I don't think there's really nothing that they could do about this. If any of you read the Apocrypha, I can't remember exactly where it's at in there, but it tells you the Most High God got certain things that He uses for judgment, weaponry. And one of the things that He uses is snow. Just like He uses the teeth of wild beasts. And around that same passage in the Apocrypha where it talks about the things the Most High God uses to take vengeance upon people. One of those things is the teeth of wild beasts. So whenever you see somebody getting ripped to smithereens by the teeth of an animal, I know it doesn't feel good. It's not comfortable to a lot of people to realize that. But whenever you see, like, you might see a man or a woman get ripped to smithereens by a tiger or a bear. They get mauled to death. Believe it or not, That's the Most High God doing that. And he uses the teeth of wild beasts to bring judgment to people. He also uses fire, ice, and snow. If I'm lying, I'm dying. Look, maybe I'll bring that out tomorrow. Because tomorrow we going to go live for real. I'm so exhausted right now, fam. I'm so exhausted. And they're making us come in tomorrow. It's not optional. You're commanded. You're coming in tomorrow. Now, of course, I can say I'm not coming in there tomorrow. I can say that. But then guess what? I ain't got to tell you what. You already know what's going to happen if I don't come in tomorrow. And I got to go in extra early. I'm looking at this Negro. He is literally sliding on ice. He's riding on ice. What the hell? Uh, uh, uh. It's bad. It's bad out here, y'all. It's bad. The state, the city, whoever. I would say that they didn't do their job, but there's nothing that they could do. It's so many booby traps out here on the roads, whether you're on the main road, side streets, trying to get on the highway or off the highway. All kind of ice walls. I'm telling you, it's all kind of traps out here. And maybe tomorrow when we do that live, maybe I'll touch on it. Some of the things that the Most High God uses for vengeance. And like I said, the teeth of wild beast. If you ever see somebody get mauled to death by a wild beast, you might not know what's going on. I might not know what's going on. But the Most High God has everybody's number. And we already know the Most High God doesn't play. When it's time for judgment to come down, it doesn't matter who likes it, doesn't matter who agrees with it, doesn't matter who gets offended. You're going to get spanked when that judgment come out. Melissa Yisrael, what it do? Melissa Yisrael says, stay warm and safe out there. That's right. No diggity. You do the same, Melissa Yisrael. Good to see you, as always. And what I just showed y'all just now, that was just a little taste. And that ain't even nothing for real, but for real, it's icy as a mother's man. Let me show you again. Maybe you can see. All right. If you can see. Look at that right there. And trust me, that might not look like nothing to you, okay, but it's just heavy duty, okay? And this is on the so-called, the acceptable part. This is actually a pretty decent part, believe it or not, even though it's not decent. But this is very decent compared to what it's going to be when I pull off from this spot. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, 40 states out of 51. This is a national emergency for the whole United States of America. Maybe not every state got hit, but 40 is enough, okay? And I'm just about to hit y'all with this quick little story time real quick. I know y'all not used to me being on here right now at this time because what I usually don't. I said I wasn't going to go live at all because I need to head straight to the bat cave and pass out because I'm going to be up before many of you guys and gals, before you could even think about getting up. Not only would I already have been up for a long time, I'm going to already be knee deep in work by the time you even remotely think about getting up tomorrow. I'm already be waist deep in captivity. This morning on the way to captivity, I saw a very large SUV was turned over upside down. And I saw an even larger police SUV with some kind of major apparatus on the front of it. It looked like they was gearing up, preparing to try to flip that SUV over so they can get it right side up. How that very large SUV, turned upside down without hitting anything, without another car in sight, is beyond me because I wasn't there to see that. I just saw the results. I'm your brother, Mr. Real Talk, and this is your go-to YouTube channel for brotherhood, sisterhood, and an attempt at righteousness. Hit the like button if you haven't already. I know some brothers and sisters, a lot of you probably gonna have to catch it on the playback, right? But tomorrow night, most high willing, we'll be going live around 8 p.m. because I'll be too busy tomorrow being enslaved. Okay? So we won't be able to go live at the regular time. So we gotta push it back. But we gonna do it tomorrow night, most high willing, about 8 o'clock. Hope to see you there. But anyway, quick story, right? Then I'm gonna be out. This happened, so tired I could barely think straight. This happened yesterday, right? As I'm in my Babylonian captivity. This is crazy. Remember a couple of days ago we went live and I was telling you wonderful Hebrew Israelites out there that according to the government, right? According to the government, I have ESP. Not maybe, not probably, 100% for sure, according to the government. Now, here's my thing. Most people, you don't ever question anything that the government says, but I know on this tip, many people will question, I don't believe in no ESP. and I get it, right? But here's the thing. What I'm talking about has nothing to do with belief. I took the test, a government sanctioned test. Would a government test you or anybody else for tuberculosis if tuberculosis didn't exist? Or does the government test people for tuberculosis because they know that it exists? I'm going to tell you, the government tests people for tuberculosis because they know that it exists. Same thing with ESP and other things. The government tests people for these things because they know they exist. Many people out there don't question anything that the church or the government says. Now, although I know around here we question everything and we prove all things. But many people don't. Many people, the government saying something or the church saying something is enough for people to believe it with no questions asked. But in this situation, you same people who believe everything the government say, this video and you find this channel, because the government, the same government that is teaching all of you that ESP and other things, telekinesis doesn't exist, that same government is out here testing people for the same things that they told you don't exist. So you let that sink in. We got, let me see, I can't really see this. Hold up. We got King Shock says, shalom, brother. Safe travels. Hey, shalom to you, fam. Trying to make out this name right here. We got, oh, brother Jason Nevels, what's good, fam? Jason Nevels says, Tav X, Mr. Real Talk at Melissa Israel at King Shot. Hey, Tav X to you, brother Jason. It was always a pleasure to see you, brother. Hope all is well with you. Hope you staying safe. I know you got a lot of snow up there in NYC, don't you? Jason Edwards says, very cold in New York. Okay, I pretty much figured. Did y'all get pounded with that snow and ice too, brother? Like we did down here in the DMV? We got a nice amount of snow and even a crazy amount of ice, man. It's treacherous out here. And the news is downplaying it, y'all. Just like right before I went on camera a couple of minutes ago, I saw an 18-wheeler out here, y'all. 18-wheeler was stuck. A lot of these neighborhoods, they are not good. I don't know what it looked like around by y'all, But I'm assuming that it's not good too. It's not good out here at all. They should have shut the whole, like for real, the whole DMV should have got shut down behind this one, because the workers and stuff are not doing their job. I'm not saying that they can prepare for something like this, because this is actually judgment from the Most High God. But it's just not good. Jason Elvis says the snow is crazy. It's everywhere. Got you. Yeah, same down here. I see so many people's vehicles and stuff. Their vehicles are completely boxed and barricaded, and they ain't getting out no time soon. Forget about it. But like I was saying, y'all, quick story time. The government doesn't test for tuberculosis if tuberculosis doesn't exist. I'm telling you, the government knows that people have what some people will call extra abilities. And it's not really extra. We've never been taught the truth about what a human being really is. So that's why all the confusion comes in. The Most High made human beings a certain kind of way. He made the earth a certain kind of way. He made our minds and spirits a certain kind of way. And people are never going to be honest with us about what we really are. I took the test. Government made, government sanctioned, government approved. Did you hear that horn just honk? That's called sound confirmation, letting you know that I'm not lying. If anybody out there heard that horn just honk right now when I said that, whether you on the live or the playback, let me know. Maybe you heard it, maybe you didn't. I don't know. But I heard it. And I hope somebody else out there heard it too. And I hope that you know what sound confirmation actually is. The government tests for these certain kind of things because they know it exists. And they want to know if you got it. And I'm telling you, according to the government, the same one that everybody likes to run behind, not y'all, but the whole everybody else on planet Earth, they run behind the government and the church. According to the government, I got ESP, extra sensory perception. Okay? And it shows itself in various different ways. I had a brother email me about 2-3 weeks ago, and I came on here and talked about it. He emailed me and he said, brother, ever since I've been a small child, I have had telekinesis. That's what this brother emailed me. And I said, wow. I said, brother, I appreciate you sharing that with me, and I definitely believe you. I said, do you mind if I share that with other brothers and sisters? Because I know some of you have had unspeakable, unexplainable things happen to you, and you know that it wasn't a fluke. You know what it was. But you're also afraid to come out and give your story and testimony because you already know people are going to look at you like you crazy. They're going to accuse you of being a liar and a nutcase. So some people will be hesitant to tell some of their stories. I got a couple of stories, right? I'm not going to say them, at least not right now, because they sound too ridiculous, even for me. But I know it's not ridiculous. But I also know many people out there, they're just ready for a lot of stuff. Like we'll be talking about right now, ESP. Many people out there think that this is only in the movies, only on TV. When I'm telling you, it's not. And I know some of you out there know that what I'm telling you is true because some of you have had your own experiences with things that have happened to you. The brother emailed me and said ever since he was a child, he had telekinesis. And he said all the way up until this very day, 2026, he still has it. And he said the way he started to know he had it when he was a child, he noticed that when he would get very angry or very upset, the dishes in his house would start shaking vigorously. Did you hear what I just said? Did you hear what I just said, beloved? This brother emailed me and said when he was a child, he noticed that when he would get very angry or upset, the dishes in the kitchen would start shaking vigorously. Mm-hmm. And see, many of you, you're gonna think I'm making this up. You're gonna think he's making that up. But I'm not gonna come on here and lie to you because I know what the Most High God will do to me if I do that. So, story time yesterday. at my captivity, aka my paid slavery, we was going to do what you call a potluck. Potluck where various people put in on food. And this is how we do. Maybe it might be 20, 30 people, right? And we all get together amongst ourselves. We'll make up a list. Hey, we're having a potluck. And everybody put in what they're going to bring to it. Somebody might say, hey, I'm bringing some chicken. Somebody might say, hey, I'm bringing some fish. Somebody might say, hey, I'm bringing some macaroni and cheese. Somebody might say, hey, I'm getting potato salad. Somebody might say, hey, I'm doing Brussels sprouts. Hey, I'm doing egg rolls. Hey, I'm doing, I don't know, whatever. I'm doing cookies. Hey, I'm bringing some cake. I'm bringing some potato chips, whatever, right? So that's what we had going on yesterday, right? Here's my story. Here's just another proof. And I'm not trying to get anybody to believe me, right? I'm just trying to tell you what happened. This happened. Potluck, right? Me and one of my homeboys, we going in, right? Me and him, it's our job to get the fried rice and the Brussels sprouts. So we getting ready to do this, right? But we haven't set up a time. We know we got to do it at a certain time, right? Because we got a certain time that we go on lunchtime. This is way before lunchtime though, right? So I know that we going in on this food and we going to have to go get this food so we can be back. Everybody, whatever you contribute into the potluck, you have to have it by the time lunchtime go. You have to be then went out to the streets and got it and brought it back. Or either you have to have already had it delivered so that way when their bell ring and it's lunchtime, whatever we going to have, everybody already got it. If you bring in cakes, potato chips, whatever, you got to have it already. So at this time right now, it's like 10 o'clock in the morning, right? So I'm like thinking to myself, okay, you know you got to go get with the homie because we're going to have to divvy up this money and we probably both going to have to make a trip to go pick this stuff up because it's going to be heavy and we're going to need more than one pair of hands. If I'm lying, I'm dying, Hebrews. If I'm lying, I'm dying. I'm over here in the cut, right? I'm over in the cut by myself. Ain't nobody near me. I probably can look out, right? I'm in the cut. Nobody near me. At least, I probably got at least 100 feet between me and the next human being. I'm in the cut. Ain't nobody nowhere near me. But I'm thinking to myself while I'm in the cut, I'm thinking, hey, I know before too long it'll be lunchtime. I need to go get with my homeboy to see how much the total of the food is so we can break this money down the middle and so that we can see what time are we going to go leave to get this food. I'm thinking that in my mind. I told you, it's at least 100. It's at least 100 feet between me and the next human being. And that, my homeboy wasn't even that close. It was, I don't know where he was at. I couldn't see him. I'm in the cut far away from humanity. And I'm thinking, I need to go get with my homeboy to see how much this food gonna cost and what time we gonna go get it. If I'm lying, I'm dying. I don't know exactly how long it was. No less than 2 minutes, no less than 5 minutes as I'm in the cut with nobody around thinking this, the same guy who I'm thinking about pops up out of nowhere. Okay, I told you, I'm way in the cut. Ain't nobody nowhere near me. This nigga pops up out of nowhere and was like, nigga, I've been looking for you. And he starts to go and he says, I'ma come get you. What he was saying was, I'ma come and get you. But before he could finish it, he goes, I'ma come get you. And he was going to say something else, but I didn't let him finish. I didn't try to cut him off. But what I said was, right after he said, I'ma come get you, I cut him off and I said, at 10:50. But I didn't realize that I cut him off and that I said that. He looked at me. He looked at me like he just saw somebody. He looked at me like he just saw something that happened that there is no explanation for. Whether you just saw a pink elephant run down the street or whether you just saw a clown come down out of the sky. The look that he had on his face, I can't even describe it. I'm describing it as best I can. He looked at me like I was talking German. And I'm looking at him because he looking at me like that. I'm like, did you just hear that too? I don't know if you heard that. Sound confirmation again, letting you know this is a real story if you heard that. He looked at me and I'm looking at him like, what's up? Well, why you looking at me like that? And he still got that look on me like he just saw me smoking crack rock or something. Like what's wrong with me? That's how he's looking at me. I'm like, well, bruh. And then he's waving his finger. Now he said, bruh, I was saying to you, I'ma come get you. And I was getting ready to say, at 10:50, we gonna leave. He said, but you the one who said 10:50. He said, although I was getting ready to say at 10:50 we gonna leave, I didn't have a chance to say that. You said 10:50, telling me that I said 10:50. Which the whole time in my mind, I'm thinking that he said it. And that's why he's looking at me like, nigga, what the hell is wrong with you? I said, or I was saying, I'ma come get you. And what he was going to say is, hey, he sought me out, come to find me to say, I'ma come get you at 10:50 so we can roll out. That's what he was coming to say to me. He said he had been looking for me. I was all the way in the cut, thinking it's time for me to go get with this nigga so that we can split this money down the middle and to see what time we're going to go get the food. And then no less than 2 minutes, no more than 5, he randomly pops up on me. How he even found where I was at, I don't know. I was hiding in the cut. And he said, nigga, I've been looking for you. He said, I'ma come get you. And I thought that he finished it off and said 10:50. I thought that he told me that. And he's looking at me telling me, nigga, I didn't say that. You didn't give me a chance to. You cut me off, basically. And I was like, what? Nah. He was like, bruh, I said that? He's like, no, I'm not crazy. I didn't say that. I was going to say that. What I said was, I'ma come get you. You didn't let me finish. You jumped in and said at 10:50 so we can go. And so now we're both standing over there looking crazy, looking at each other. He looking at me like I just broke out some crack rock and started smoking crack rock at work on the clock. That's how he's looking at me. Like I'm blazing up crack rock and I'm in there sitting on a unicorn. That's how he was looking at me. And I'm here in there shaking my head because I'm like, yo, this cannot be happening right now. And I said, you know what? What came to my mind? I remember I took that test. And according to the so-called white man, the government, who everybody loves and listens to, according to them, they said they don't think so. They know I got ESP. And then that crazy thing that happened to me yesterday, my homeboy walked up to me and said, hey, I'ma come get you. And then he said that I finished it up and said at 10:50. When the whole time he was coming to tell me at 10:50 we're gonna leave. So here's the thing. How did I know we was gonna leave at 10:50? How did I know that? And you think it's just a coincidence that my coworker was coming to tell me at 10:50 we gonna leave? Look, he just looked at me. He leaned back and put his back on the wall, still looking at me like I'm smoking crack, sitting on top of a unicorn, because he can't believe what he just saw. He knows he's not crazy. But see, when you have moments like this, your mind will try to play tricks on you and even trick you out of believing what you just witnessed. That we were having one of those kind of moments. My coworker, his mind is trying to trick him and make him think that he didn't witness what he just witnessed. Do you hear that? It's called sound confirmation. Letting you know all this story I'm telling you is true. I'm not making none of this up. So I had to tell him. I said, hey, bruh, I got something to tell you, bruh. So now he's looking at me like, what? What? I said, bruh, I'm just going to be honest with you. This is going to sound ridiculous, what I'm getting ready to tell you. It's going to sound preposterous and ridiculous. He was like, what? I said, bruh, I took a so-called government test, bruh. I said, you ever heard of ESP? He said, nah, what's that? I said, well, something that renders itself, it shows itself in different ways. And one of the ways ESP shows itself is you can communicate with people and they can communicate with you without talking. Talking without talking. ESP just stands for extrasensory perception. That means you can sense and perceive someone talking to you. Extrasensory, meaning none of the conventional ways. Not reading, not looking. Listening, but not with these ears, with a different kind of ear. And when I was telling him that, he was like, what the hell? I said, bruh, I know it sounds ridiculous. I said, but I took the test. I said, everybody believes the government. For the most part, people never question the government. And I told him the same thing I'm telling y'all. The government doesn't give tuberculosis tests because tuberculosis doesn't exist, or they're trying to figure out if tuberculosis exists. They give people tests for tuberculosis because they know it exists. And they know that there are people out there with ESP who can do telepathy, who can send out messages as well as receive messages. I know, yeah, it sounds crazy. And guess what? Because we've been dumbed down and put to sleep, some of you out there even going to try to say, I'm doing witchcraft. Because there's already people out there that try to lie and say I'm a warlock and all that other garbage, even though there's not a shred of proof for that BS, because it's BS. And that's why there's no proof to back it up. And when you see me out here looking around, right, obviously I'm outside. This is not the normal live stream setup. So you got to be paying attention, you know what I'm saying, on your P's and Q's, on the lookout for G's and fools. You know what I mean? It's not a game. As a matter of fact, thinking about the blizzard right now. Remember back in the day, DC, my cousin got killed in a blizzard. The blizzard in 96. My cousin got gunned down in a carryout. Got gunned down in a carryout in Washington, D.C. in the blizzard in 96. That's why whenever you see me outside, and of course, look, I'm not a thug, I'm not a gangster, I'm not none of that. But mama ain't raised no fool, I'm outside. And when you outside, I don't care where you at. Nigga, you outside, you best be paying attention. Because you could come up short if you get caught slipping. Especially out here, they do it everywhere. But out here in the DMV, I told y'all, these niggas don't care about nothing except killing, for the most part. Yeah, you got some exceptions, but these niggas out here are extremely bloodthirsty. And nothing makes these niggas' days out here, a lot of them, other than being able to catch a nigga slipping. And they love to shoot you when you in your car. Any nigga that know anything about that kind of life, you know niggas love to shoot you when you in the car. Because when you in the car, it's more of an easier target. Even though you might be moving, the car could be moving, it's still an easier target. Shooting at a nigga if he in a car as opposed to shooting at a nigga who's on foot. Somebody who's on foot can do things that a person in the car can't do. It ain't but so, even though you might be moving, the car might be moving, you might be in the car moving around, you still somewhat in a fixed area. And if a nigga is trying to shoot at you, that's why niggas love shooting at niggas when they're in their car. For real, niggas will shoot at you any kind of way. I'm just saying, for niggas who live in that kind of life and they own that kind of shit, they study that kind of shit, and they know when the best time to come get you. Certain times are better than others, and especially outside. How many times on social media you see niggas outside going live, and a nigga run up on them, or run down on them while they going live and air their ass out on live stream? You know what I'm saying? And once again, like I said, I don't live a thug life or a gangster life, so I'm not worried about nothing from that aspect. But it has nothing to do with living a thug life or a gangster life. Civilians, I don't care who you are, you can be doing everything by the book. Niggas are sick. And when I say niggas are sick, I ain't just talking about black people. I'm talking about humanity. Human beings are sick. I don't trust nobody. And I advise you not to do that as well. But as I said, talking to my homeboy, my co-worker at work, he couldn't believe what I was telling him. And when I started breaking it down to him, I said, bro, this is a test. And I said, look, I know you and you know me. You know I don't play about no shit like this. I'm not going to lie about nothing like this. And he was like, well, true. I ain't got no reason to make this shit up. I said, you just witnessed this shit. So I had to tell you because I know what it is. We witnessed it together. You know what I'm saying? And I know it sounds crazy. Some of you out there right now might be listening to this and you like, yo, this nigga Mr. Real Talk, he's lost his mind. I'm telling you, I'm not making none of this up. According to the so-called government, the so-called white man who everybody loves and reveres and worships everything he says, according to them, I got ESP. And when I took that test, there were multiple questions, multiple things that I did, and I got every single one of them right. Like maybe the first question or the first test, you say, so-called beginner's luck, right? Even though there's no such thing as luck. I knew that. The people who were taking the test also, they knew that. There's no such thing as luck. But I use that word because that's what people been taught to use to dismiss supernatural things or spiritual things or what have you. Or just amazing physical feats. They're going to make you say it's luck, or they're going to train you to say it's coincidence, even though coincidences don't exist. I'm watching these niggas over here. Niggas was parked across the way over there. Now you pulling over here. What the hell you pulling over here for? See, I watch it like that. And yes, I'm suspicious of everybody. I don't trust a soul. Because it's not smart to trust niggas. If you want to live, I'm going to tell you, don't trust a soul. The only time I can even think about trusting a nigga is if you y'all only. And if I don't know you, I can't say that you y'all only, which means I don't trust you at all. You know what I'm saying? Niggas sitting right here, whoever it is. I just saw that junk sitting across the way, parked over there. Now you pull up over here. I just don't like it. Okay, now I hear people getting out of the car. I see him. All right. Whatever. It's all good. But that's why you got to be paying attention. Now, these people right here, they appear to be harmless, right? But guess what? That's them. It ain't always like that. That's why you got to pay attention. You cannot afford to be careless out here. Somebody you encounter on the streets you don't know, you got to assume the worst about them. That's if you want to live. See, I'm all about safety first, so I got certain core values and certain ways that I live my life, and I don't straddle the fence. You a stranger, I don't know you. To me, I log you in as a high alert threat. Don't care who you are. And then I'll leave it up to you to prove to me that you're not a high alert threat. But like I said, that was just a little story time, and it's straight up true. There are people out here walking around, and you might have it yourself. You might got ESP. And my coworker, if y'all could have seen the way he was looking at me like, I cannot believe what just happened. Because he sought me out after I've been over there thinking about, it's probably time I need to go find him so we can break this money down and see what time we're going to leave to go get this fried rice and these Brussels sprouts. Because that's what we was responsible for. And as I'm in that corner thinking to myself, I need to go meet with the homeboys so we can see what time we going to go, he pops up out of nowhere. Nigga, I've been looking for you. I'ma come get you. And then I cut him off and said, at 10:50, we're gonna go get the food. Why would I just pull out? Why and how could I just pull out a random number? Because at that point, that's a random number, 10:50. And that's when he started looking at me like, what the hell? And I'm looking at him like, bro, why you looking at me like that, bro? You know what I'm saying? And he's looking at me like, because he knows that he never told me 10:50. So where did I get 10:50 from? You see that? And I had to break it down to the brother. I said, brother, it appears as if more than likely you got ESP too. Because wherever you was at in this building, you were thinking about, let me go find Mr. Real Talk so I can let him know at 10:50 we gonna leave. I said, bruh, clearly I felt your thoughts. Wherever you was at, way over there, wherever that was, way out of my sight, and we had not coordinated the timing yet. So where did I get 1050 from? Oh, just a coincidence, right? I said, bruh, people will have you and me think that this is just a coincidence. I said, brother, there's no such thing as a coincidence. And he looking at me because he knows what he just saw. I said, see, I said, you know what you feeling right now, bruh? Your mind is trying to lock up on you right now and tell you and convince you that you didn't see what you know you just saw. I said, it's doing it to me too, but I've seen it before, so I'm just not going to fight against it. I said, where did I get the time 1050 from? Where did I get that from? I felt his thoughts. And I told him when I took that test, multiple things were revealed about me. My send out game is strong. To other people who have ESP2, my send out game is strong. And if their receiving game is strong, they're going to receive that. And also, not only was my send out game proven to be strong when I took the test, my receiving game is strong too, because I was on both ends, the sending and the receiving end. And every time I had a question, I got it right every time. I was 100% on everything. So I told that brother, I said, you know what? You probably got ESP too. And I felt your thoughts. And he was like, and see, he's a very rational guy. He ain't never heard nothing like that. He's been taught the same thing we've been taught. And he a hood nigga too. From Southeast DC to be exact. Anybody out, hey, shout out to all the niggas from Southeast, right? Shout out to all my Southside niggas out there. Everybody knows how a lot of hood niggas get down. They're not really gonna tolerate niggas capping and lying when they know that you're talking some outrageous shit. Telling a nigga from the hood that you heard his thoughts from hundreds and hundreds of feet across the room, and then not just telling them that though, coming up with that time, 1050, when he knows he did not tell me that yet. That's why he came over there to tell me, but he had already been thinking it, and I picked up on that time exactly. So it was easy to get him to understand, not persuade. I didn't persuade him to do nothing. He understood what he just witnessed because he knows that there's no way. Why would I just come up with the time 1050? That's so random. But I came up with it because that's what he was thinking. Even though I didn't know that, he was thinking that. And my receiving game is pretty strong because I received it without even knowing it. He was bewildered. As well, I was bewildered myself. But I told him what it was, and you know what? He didn't buck up against it. Now, if you know anything about hood niggas, you know hood niggas ain't accepting no shit like that. You did what, nigga? You read my mind? You heard my thoughts? Nigga, get the fuck. Most hood niggas are gonna clown you. They're gonna say he's on drugs. But shout out to my homie from the South Side. He knew better. He knew I wasn't making this up. How? Because he was a part of it. And there's no way that I could have known that he was going to say 1050. Where did I get that from? I didn't get that from thin air. I got it from his thoughts. He was projecting that, sending it out, unbeknownstly to him, because he had that in his mind. I got to find Mr. Real Talk so I can let him know at 1050 we going to leave. So you know what that tells me too? His send out game is pretty strong. He doesn't even realize he's doing it. And I related to him just like this. Just like I tell y'all. I said, bruh, I said, I know you grew up watching superhero movies like every nigga. I said, you know how in superhero movies, when the superhero is beginning to come of age and to come into his powers, but he doesn't know that he's a superhero yet. So things just start magically happening around him. And you just keep on saying, wow, what a coincidence the other day. Hey, what a coincidence today. Not ever knowing that all of these so-called coincidences are not coincidences. You are causing these things with your abilities. But since you don't know you have abilities, you don't even know that you're doing it. It sounds ridiculous to most people. But if you would have witnessed what my coworker witnessed, it wouldn't sound so ridiculous. That's why he just kept looking at me with this bewildered and this inexplicable look of, I can't believe this. And he knows that it was the truth. That's why he didn't buck up against it. If you would have been there too, You wouldn't have bucked up against it had you been there. And somebody out there might buck up against this now. And you know what? I don't blame you because it sounds ridiculous. The only other people out there who won't buck up against this, even though they wasn't there, is other so-called X-Men. That's what I call niggas now. You're X-Men. Because that's what X-Men are in the movies and cartoons. People who look just like everybody else, but they have extraordinary abilities. And just like the X-Men, the government knew that there were people walking among the population who looked normal just like everybody else. But they could do extraordinary things like telekinesis, moving things with your brain. And I told you, the brother emailed me like 2, 3 weeks ago and said, ever since he was a child, and that's how he found out he had telekinesis, every time he would get very upset, the dishes in his house would start shaking and rattling. And see, to most people, that would sound unbelievable. But you know why I had no problem believing that? Because I myself am also a so-called X-Man. That's what I'm going to call niggas from now on. You an X-Man. Look just like a regular Joe, but far from regular. That's many of you out there. And if you are somebody watching this video right now, whether you on the live stream or the playback, and you like, yo, Mr. Real Talk, that story that you just told us sounds so ridiculously crazy, but I got no problem believing it, it's probably because you are a X-Man or X-woman yourself. And that's my little so-called story time, which is not a story because it's all facts. Everything I told you actually happened yesterday. Okay? We got Brother Jason Edwards said the snow is crazy. It's everywhere. Yep. He says definitely the most y'all's, the most high y'all work for facts, bro. For facts, for shiggity. And maybe I'll touch on that tomorrow on the live stream. How the Most High God got certain things that he uses for vengeance. One of those things is the teeth of wild beast. And some of those other things are like fire, ice, and snow. Yeah, in the Apocrypha. Matter of fact, I'm definitely going to bring that out tomorrow. Also tomorrow, because I have to work slavery, we won't be going live until 8 p.m. tomorrow. So most high willing, I'll see you there. Vex to you wonderful Hebrew Israelites out there. Please be safe. If you don't have to drive on the ice, please stay away. The only reason why I'm out here now, because I had to go into captivity today. If I didn't have to go into captivity today, I would not have left the Bat Cave. I love you all. May the Most High smile upon you all. My new book, Bootstrapped to Millions, How Anyone Can Start to Build Wealth from Scratch with No Money. All you gotta do is change your mindset, beloved. Bootstrapped to Millions, live on Amazon. Link in the video description. Share this video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Vex to all my wonderful Hebrew Israelites out there. Shout out to all the Gentiles out there. Just a few of you who want to cleave to the house of Israel. Shout out to y'all. May the Most High Yah bless you all, keep you all. Be safe, stay warm, and I will see you Most High willing tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. Love y'all, fam. I'm out.